down here, we have 10 working days until the Superstar Retreat. Write that down. 10 working days till the Superstar Retreat. Okay, the pressure's on. Whoa. These 5 and the next 5. And at the end of the next 5, what we have is our contest ending. So you still have time to do the activities today to pick up some of these great prizes. So think about that. I mean, it's not just only about money, it's about winning prizes. All right? So we get those activities going. So we're going to do a couple of things in the next day or so. We're going to work on a 6-month review, because that's where we are, seeing what we've done in the past, and we'll talk about that in a minute. And we're going to work on what we can do and focus on what I call running through the finish line between now and next Friday. Focus those activities, because I think business can still be done. I think escrows can be opened, and I think listings can be taken. So the question I had that I wrote down here is, let's focus on the next 10 days to build muscle. So I wrote down a quote: learn from the past, set vivid, detailed goals for the future, and live in the only moment of time which we have any control of, and that is now. It's the only thing we have control of. We don't have control of the past, and we have no control of the future. We only have control of now. So what I want you to do is focus on what is possible and what you have control over, and that is today, setting a plan, and then taking action on that plan for the next 10 working days. So I wrote down here, in the next 10 working days, we have blitz days with like-minded agents. So write down, we already have the blitzes lined up. They're already set up with like-minded agents that come to the office. They go to Irvine, they go to Walnut, and they go to Covina. They're all set up. There's role plays set up. There's an environment of high energy that's been set up. There's an environment of accountability that's set up. And there's training. And don't forget, what do we do at lunchtime? We bring you lunch. You would think I would have a full house. Real estate agents, free food. It's a natural. Anyway, so write this down. There's going to be 2 Mondays. So here's how I think you should lay out the next 10 days. Okay? There's 2 Mondays, and on the Mondays, you should be able to get 4 hours on each Monday of prospecting in. 4 hours on each Monday. So 2 Mondays is 8 hours of prospecting. I wrote down here that there would be 8 contacts per hour. Now, some of you do more. Some of you are on Mojo and do more. But no one should fall below 8 contacts per hour on any of their calling. So that gives you 64 contacts for those 2 days. Write that down. There are 2 Tuesdays in the next 10 days. You have 2 of them in Covina, and you have 2 of them in Walnut. Whichever one you want to be at, that's fine with me. But you've got 2 in Walnut and 2 in Covina. I wrote down there you've got 3 hours of prospecting for those days, starting at 9, finishing at 12. So that's 6 hours at 8 contacts an hour. 6 times 8 is, write down, 48 contacts. So we had 6 hours of prospecting for those 2 work days and 48 contacts. Doesn't get any easier than what I'm laying out for you for the next 10 days. Then I wrote down here Wednesday. We have 2 Wednesdays with door knocking opportunities. 2 Wednesdays with door knocking opportunities for our door blitz. So what you've got here is 3 hours at 8 hours, excuse me, 3 hours in the morning, 4 hours in the morning. I wrote this down differently. You have 4 hours of doors in the morning and 4 hours of phone calls in the afternoon, because we set up a blitz in Irvine that I think you guys should consider coming to on Wednesday evening for the next 2 weeks. Okay? So this Wednesday before the 4th of July. Now, on holidays, are people home or not? Yes. They tend to be home, right? So when you're calling, is it better for them to be at home or not at home? So right? So now we have door knocking and now we have calling. So what I think you should do is 4 hours of doors in the morning and then 4 hours of phone calls in the afternoon at Irvine. Okay, in a group environment with like-minded people. We're set up there from 4 until 7. Excuse me. From 3 until 7. From 3 until 7. Okay? So that's 3 until 7. So that's another 48 contacts that day. Because you have 64, sorry. 64. Then you have Thursday in Irvine, which is 3 hours in the morning, which is 24 contacts. But Thursday is 4th of July. Okay, so first of all, let me back off. We're not doing Irvine this Thursday. It's the following Thursday. But I do want, this is a total bonus day. It's a total bonus day for you. Is there any reason, let me back up. Are people going to be home 4th of July morning or not? Okay. Is there any reason why you shouldn't put an hour or two of phones indoors in if you want to talk to your past client and sphere? How about just past client and sphere? How about not anyone else? Bonus day. So I want you to think about that one. I didn't include that one in there. You only have the one Thursday, and that's a week from now. And then there's only one Friday because you have this Friday, and I want you to push it this week. Next Friday, we're doing the end of contest. So there is no calling really from about 10 o'clock on because everybody's over here trying to pick out their prize. They're sniffing around the prize. Which prize am I going to get? How many tickets is it going to take to get that flat screen television or that iPad or that iPod? What's it going to take to get that? So that's a week from Friday. We have no calling. But this Friday, I'm going to bug the heck out of you all week. If you don't do anything else, work Friday. Why? Anyone want to ask why?
Why?
Because your competition's not going to. I guarantee it. Your competition's not going to. And if you put 3 or 4 or 5 hours in on Friday, which you could easily blow off, you're going to make a giant difference because you're going to have no competition out there. You're going to feel awesome about yourself. You're going to pick up leads because people are going to be home. They're going to take a longer weekend. They're going to be doing things around their house, and you're going to be able to talk to them. You're going to be able to set appointments. You need to focus in on making sure of that. I wrote down here, there will be a total, the way I calculated out, of about 40 hours of looking for business. 40 hours over the next 10 days of looking for business. Okay? The way this is lined up. 40 hours. About 320 contacts. So in those 40 hours, you should be able to do about 320 contacts. But here's the question. So here's what I know. Based on your efficiencies, most of you should be able to do at least one listing in 320 contacts. Most of you. A good part of you should be able to take one listing and do one pending. There's probably a third of you that should be able to do a couple of pendings and a listing, or a couple listings and a pending out of 320 contacts. And there's some of you that should be able to do 2 listings and 2 sales in the next 10 work days. Okay? Next 10 work days. Now think about it. Most of you will have probably 120 people at the Superstar Retreat. Most of you are going to the Superstar Retreat. How great are you going to feel walking into that front door that morning with an extra listing or 2, sale or 2, pending or two. And how much is a pending worth? $10,000, $15,000 to you? So anywhere from $10,000 to maybe $40,000 in your pocket? Think about that. Only because you did the activities over the next 10 working days. Now, a show of hands. Who could use an extra $10,000?
Today?
Okay, just curious. So it's pretty unanimous. Okay, good. All right. So that's what I want you to focus in on over the next 10 days. And I want you to draw another line. Like I said, probably 110 or 120 of you are going to be at the Superstar Retreat. Now, this retreat's going to have probably 5,000 of the top real estate agents in the country. That some of them have had a pretty spectacular year. Some of them need to get charged up. And here you are. You have an opportunity to supercharge yourself for the second half of this year. Now, I find in our company, the second half of the year, we do about 20% more business in the second half than we do in the first half. 20% more business. So the question is, what are you going to do to get in that groove, in that focus, to make sure that you kick it up at least your 20%? And I figured with 5,000 real estate agents there, that maybe you could talk to some of them and ask them some questions. So I wrote down here some questions that you might want to include in some conversations with some of the agents, all right? So the first question is, what do you want to know from these 5,000 people that'll help you supercharge the balance of 2013? That's question number one. Write that down. The next question I wrote down is, what are the 3 things you need to do now to double your business over the next 12 months? Might not happen in 6, but it could happen in 12. What are the 3 things I need to do now? Because you're going to be talking to agents that did double and triple and quadruple their business over the last year or two till today. And they don't do it with REO transactions. I wrote down the next one is, what 2 things, this is what you're going to ask one of the agents, a lot of the agents actually, and make a decision on who you're going to talk to. What 2 things did you do to move you from your point A to point B? What are the 2 things specifically that help move you from point A to point B? The next question is, how did you change your price point? Now, not everybody did, but a lot of them did. How did you change your price point? What are the 3 or 4 things I must do first to be able to do that? What do I need to do to work on changing my price point? Now, I'm not suggesting you go from 200,000 to $1.5 million tomorrow. That's not what I'm talking about. It'd be nice, but it's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about, I don't know if you get this or not, but if you normally do, let's say 20 transactions a year. You normally do 20 transactions. And it's $300,000 average, or $9,000 a deal. You guys with me? 20 transactions. And you just door knock, instead of the $300,000 houses that you normally door knock, you move to the track to the right or the left of that is $400,000. Just $100,000 more. Not a big deal. At a 3% split, 3% commission to the selling office, either you as the listing agent or you as the buying agent, you'd end up with $3,000 more per transaction. Do you guys get it? $100,000, $3 grand. 20 deals is $60,000. $60,000, same 20 transactions, you just made an additional $60,000 for the same effort. Not even one more deal. Now we know that we talked about you doing a few more deals. But you can do this and just pick up an extra $60,000. Pretty awesome, right? Just move tracks. Same neighborhood, same city, just move tracks. From 400 to 500, 500 to 600, 700 to 900. Get it? Think about that. And then I want you to ask specifically in the front of the room. Now, let's back up. First of all, a number of you bought upfront seating. If you still want upfront seating, we probably could still get it for you. Where there is an upfront seating that I bought as part of the contest, so we will be giving that away. There's a different program in the front of the room than there is in the back of the room. There just is. That's how that event goes. But you've got probably 1,000 one-on-ones, 1,500 one-on-ones in the front of the room that are doing 50 to 250 transactions. And those are people that you could rub shoulders with. And I want you to find 5 of them. Find 5 of them. If you're not in the front, at the break, rush to the front. I want you to talk to 5 people, and this is what I want you to ask them. What are the 2 or 3 things that your coach or Mike Ferry has been trying to get you to do in the last year? What are the 2 or 3 things that your coach or Mike Ferry in his talks has been trying to get that person to do, that if they were to adopt, change or start, adopt it, change what they were doing, or start doing what they're recommending, would make a big difference in their business in the next 12 months? What are the 2 or 3 things? Because are there things that we ask you to do that you don't do sometimes, yes or no? Yes or no? Yes. All right, good job. Okay. Well, that's the case even with agents that are one-on-one that are paying Mike $1,000 a month. It's the same issues. So I want you to talk to them. I want you to find 5 of them, specific goal, and talk to them and find out what are the 2 or 3 things that they're resisting, that they're not doing, that they're not adopting, that they're not working on. Because my sense is, in some of these cases, they might also be your resistance, your things that you're not pushing through. And that maybe together you could brainstorm it. Maybe something they're working on and they give you an idea, wow, you know, I could just tweak this right there and I could make that happen. Does this make sense for you guys? Today really does matter. What you will do today, how you will act and react today, what actions you will take for the next 10 working days matters. Don't think the next 10 days don't matter. What changes you will make today will affect the tomorrow and will affect the next day. And then at the end of the 10 days, you'll have these results that are different. And those results and those changes will affect the second half of this year in a big way. Now let's go out and make this a fabulous week. Thank you.